Coach Prime is missing the start of Colorado's summer camps because of an unspecified health reason. And prayers up to Coach Prime. According to his son, Bucky, Deion Sanders Jr., he says it's not clear when Coach Prime will return to the school, saying, quote, he'll tell y'all soon enough what he's going through, what he went through. Bucky said on Sunday on a YouTube live stream from Coach Prime's estate out in Dallas, Texas, Coach Prime, who's remained out of the public eye since the NFL draft, and really since Colorado spring ball. He's really just been quiet. He's attended the Colorado summer ball and workouts last year and the year before, but he hasn't appeared this year. And Bucky talked about it when we get back in Boulder. I don't know. I'm waiting until my dad leaves. When he leaves, then I'll go. Until then, I'm going to sit here with him. And I have full respect to Bucky for doing that. I absolutely respect that. And prayers up to Coach Prime, whatever he's going through. I hope we see him back in Boulder soon and in time for a huge, massive season for the Buffaloes in 2025. Here's an update on Coach Prime's health from Uncle Neely. Take a listen.
Good, man. One of the things we ended the spring saying was this was the most energetic and enthusiastic Coach Prime I've seen since I've been with him. And that's going back to the spring COVID season. And as he told Asante, he had a little setback, but nothing that he can't overcome. Mm-hmm. And FaceTime with him the other day, man, when he's home, people get a to-do list. Like, please know he is still the head coach of this football program as he, takes some time off. But he's still engaged, man, energetic.
And I expect to see Coach Prime in Boulder soon. Prayers up to Coach Prime, and I can't wait to see him back. Matt and I kind of discussed it. We saw him on Asante Samuel's podcast. He looked a little skinny, and Matt and I were kind of concerned about that. And apparently he's going through some unspecified health things. Prayers up to Coach Prime, and I expect to see him in Boulder soon. But, folks, I got a special and great show planned for you today here on this fine Tuesday here on Bailey Price Media Live. Publisher for SunDevilSports.com, 247 Sports. Chris Karpman joins the show to break down whether Arizona State is a team to beat in the Big 12 headed into 2025. We're also going to talk about Cam Skattebo's potential for the New York Giants this season, as well as so much more. I also want to talk to him about Kenny Dillingham and what Arizona State means to Kenny Dillingham. Folks, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. I'll see you guys on the other side. Welcome back to another edition of Bailey Price Media Live.
Bailey Price Media, I like it.
What's going on, folks? Without further ado, let's get into this very, very special show. Without further ado, our main man, publisher for SunDevilSports.com, Chris Karpman, joins the show. Chris, what up, man? How you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Doing great. A little bit warm out here. I don't know how the weather is where you're at, but
not too bad, not too shabby. Absolutely. I can only imagine you're in I'm guessing Tempe. I'm guessing it's pretty hot out there. I can only imagine the desert heat, something else. But Chris, I can't thank you enough for joining, man, on this fine Tuesday. Let's get into it and discuss. Let's talk some ASU here, and looking into it in the Big 12. We're getting closer to the season. I wanted to ask you: do you think Arizona State is the team to beat in the Big 12 going into this season? I think the Big 12 as a conference is pretty wide open. We saw the conference last season kind of cannibalize itself, if you want to kind of call it that. But going into this season, I think the ceiling's the limit. I think Arizona State has to be the team headed into this season in the Big 12. Chris, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, ASU repeat Big 12 champions, quite possible, right? Team has 2/3 of its starters back. Only really 3 defensive players who were in the 2 deep, 1 regular starter, Shamari Simmons. Should be one of the best defenses in the conference. This ASU defense led the Big 12 in run defense last year. Has almost everybody back. Sam Levitt and Jordan Tyson. That's going to be the number 1 quarterback wide receiver duo that everybody's talking about in the conference. 4 offensive line starters back. second team all-conference tight end Shema Mateer. So Cam Skattebo's loss is massive, and that will need to be replaced. But if ASU is able to accomplish that, given everything else that it has, returning the entire staff, continuity, guys understanding the scheme, importance of the position at quarterback with Sam Levitt, you have to think that ASU's got a very favorable setup to potentially repeat.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Sam Levitt, Jordan Tyson connection, kind of talk about that. How do you expect that to go headed into this season? Obviously, a lot of expectations, a lot of potential. Chris, what are your thoughts on that duo headed into this season?
They're all American candidates. Sam Levitt is a Heisman Trophy whispered type of a quarterback. If you're a CFP team and you're led by a star quarterback, of course, that person's going to be talked about as one of the top prospects to the NFL and one of the best candidates for All-American and Heisman Trophy honors. That kid is very special for a young guy. I've never seen a freshman come in at ASU going back decades who had that amount of impact at the quarterback position early. Probably the most impressive thing is how well he took care of the football. This is a guy who threw the fewest interceptions of any of the regular starting Big 12 quarterbacks over the course of a season in his first year as a starter. Turnover margin, the most important stat in football. I think people understand if you look at who the best teams in the Big 12 were last season, it was all teams that were very good in turnover margin. In fact, I think ASU, Iowa State, BYU were the top three. Colorado was like maybe right behind them. Yeah. So if you don't turn the ball over, you generated quite a few turnovers. That's how you separate from these other teams in the conference. Sam Levitt also has this really great scrambling ability that teams have a hard time accounting for him on third down with his legs. And Jordan Tyson is a 3-level wideout. A great job by Marcus Arroyo, ASU offensive coordinator, to move him around the formation, to put him into advantageous situations to be successful. Had he been on the field, because he had a collarbone injury, broken collarbone against Arizona, so he didn't play in the Big 12 championship or the Peach Bowl. Had he been on the field for the Peach Bowl, I think that game might have been different. I think ASU could have beaten Texas. It was a very close game, obviously. It came down double overtime, right? So you give those guys a year of experience under their belt because it was their first year playing together, first year at ASU in the system. They're going to be a problem, especially because they've now been surrounded by the additions of some other wide receivers that have some explosive capability down the field.
Chris, now I got to ask you cover this team. You see this team. I cover Colorado on a different podcast, and I cover the Buffalo. Now I got to ask you about the Sun Devils. How optimistic are you as somebody who covers this team headed into the season? We talked about, are they the team to beat? How do you, see this season playing out for them in your eyes? What are your expectations for Kenny Dillingham and the Sun Devils headed into this season?
Well, look, 20 years of missing almost no spring football practices in my career. And from over that period of time, the only spring roster that I was as impressed by was 2013, which was a 10-win ASU team that had one of the best defenses in the country, led by Will Sutton, Carl Bradford, probably had 5 or 6 all Pac-12 first-team players. And this defense is close to that caliber, I would say, with a quarterback who compares very well to Taylor Kelly, the leader of that team, who was in his second year as a starter, actually, as a matter of fact. The schedule is relatively favorable. It's not like a super difficult looking, daunting type of a schedule. ASU fans are going to be disappointed with anything less than 9 wins this season. Yeah. So the bar is very high. It should be high. Again, injuries, you got to stay injury free, and you got to avoid bad turnovers and other sort of huge, things that can be catastrophic within games. ASU won like 6 one-score games last year, 6 games that were at least single-digit games. That is what separates the real from the fake. In the fourth quarter, you got to be able to execute and have quarterbacks that can take you on game-winning drives. Colorado had that the last couple of years. Yeah. ASU had that last year, and ASU probably has as good of a quarterback as anyone in the conference to be able to do that this year.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's go into. I got to ask you about a former Sun Devil now with the New York Giants, Cam Skattebo. I wanted to ask you about him. He's one of my favorite players. Going back to watching him play in his Big Sky conference days at Sac State. But I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on Cam Skattebo's potential for the Giants headed into the season? He's got to battle Tracy Jr. there for the running back spot, but I expect him to get plenty of rub headed into the season, probably plenty of burn. But Chris, what are your thoughts on Cam Skattebo's potential for the Giants?
Well, what I think a lot of people may not realize about Skattebo is he improved quite significantly between his junior season and his senior season. He lost 10 to 15 pounds. He got lighter, leaner, more explosive. The big knock on his game is he's a 4.7 40 guy. He's truly amazing in terms of his contact balance and his ability to get yards after he's been hit by defensive players. That will be tougher, of course, at the NFL level, but he is still going to physically wear on opponents. He's someone who, when guys are tackling and you're playing real football, he always elevates. So in practices, when you're thud mode and you're not tackling, he might not separate from a Tyrone Tracy or Singletary. But as soon as they get into exhibition football and you got guys trying to like stop him and he's dragging them consistently for extra 2, 3, 4 yards, that's going to be a hard thing. And also, he's an underrated third down back because he's going to blow up some people as a pass protector, especially as he gets a little bit more technically sound. And he's very adept at catching the ball out of the backfield, getting upfield quickly. So there's a lot of things to his game. He only had 1 fumble last season also. So he's reliable. He plays through injuries. He had a shoulder injury that was pretty bad. Only missed 1 game with a pretty serious injury. So there's a lot of things that line up extremely well for him. He's just not gonna run away from defenses in the NFL. Yeah. It's going to be a lot of hard yards, but he's built for that.
No, definitely he's built for that. And I think he kind of sticks out in backs in the NFL. Definitely a bruiser. We just showed a play from his Arizona State days. Definitely a bruiser. Definitely a guy who has no problem getting to the second level and will definitely cause some DBs some trouble with those arm tackles. Chris, I wanted to show a video of Cam Skattebo talking about what motivates him as he heads to the NFL, battles his NFL process here. Take a listen to this.
Cam, how do you keep finding the chip on your shoulder and to prove people that you can still do more?
Yeah, how many snaps of the NFL have you seen me play? 0, right? I've proved nothing. I've proved what I am in college, but I've proved nothing at this level. So now where I'm at, I have to prove myself. And if that's for 5 years or if that's for 10 years, I'm going to continue to prove myself. I'm the best, do it for the longest. So I'll continue to do that and just work my butt off until time comes.
I love it. Humble cat. He's my age, and he's got that type of humility and stuff. I love that. Chris, kind of talk about Cam's personality, his work ethic, his habits and stuff as he gets closer to training camp and battling out in Giants minicamp.
Well, I think you have to start by talking about the culture that he comes from. He was a completely overlooked, unheralded guy coming out of this Sacramento area, ends up at Sac State, no other scholarship offers. So when that is your origin story, you feel like you have a lot to prove. And that doesn't just go away when you had 1 or 2 years of success, and especially not when you are coming from an ASU culture, which is a lot more process-oriented, process-driven than results-oriented. So their focus is always about how do you get 1% better every day, rather than, let's all celebrate like we made it because we had one game of success or one season of success or anything. I love that attitude. It reminds me of the famous Kobe Bryant, is the job finished? Job's not finished line, which the very, very best are the guys who will relentlessly come at you, even when they already are rich and successful and famous and they have everything. LeBron James at 40 years old, still preparing like he's a rookie with his habits and toughness and your mental DNA. Those are the things that separate players at the margins, and that's why Cam Skattebo is, in my opinion, a very good NFL prospect.
Yeah, very good. I think he went to a great place, a place that is in dire need of running back replacement since the departure of Saquon Barkley, and I think this is the perfect personality, perfect type of a character headed to New York. Now with the Giants, I think the Giants have no choice but to win 8 games this season, or their coach Brian Daboll and their general manager are probably going to be on a hot seat. Do you have any thoughts on the Giants headed into the season? I'm a Russell Wilson guy. I'm pretty confident in them. I think they're going to win 8 games. I think they're going to actually surprise some people headed into the season. Chris, do you share the same sentiment as me, or do you expect them another down year in New York? Do you have any expectations?
Well, I haven't studied the schedule. Nor have I really spent a lot of time looking at their too deep. Russell Wilson at this stage of his career, he's going to have to show me, right? Because it's been a minute. It's been a good minute since he had that level of an impact to lead a playoff caliber offense, right? And I actually think that their coaching is a little bit underrated. I think their coaching is better than it's probably given credit for. And with the right pieces, I think that they can be successful. Again, you got to stay healthy. You gotta. It's the same things I was talking about earlier. You got to win the turnover margin. You got to be injury free, and you got to rely on guys to perform at a very high level, starting with your quarterback. My sense is they're probably going to be around a 500 football team.
I mean, that's improvement. I mean, Giants fans have to be happy at that, Chris. One thing you said that I'll take away, and I agree with you, Giants coaching is underrated. The whole reason I said about Daboll is because I think there's the patience ever since the getting rid of Saquon Barkley, and then we've seen all the noise with them, not drafting Jaden Daniels and doing all this, everything that I think fans are, kind of running out of patience, kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers fans are with Tomlin, even though they seem to win every year, win 10 games every year. But I'm a big fan of Brian Daboll. I think he's a great coach, and I think he's going to figure it out. I think they, like you mentioned, they have the tools to figure it out. Nonetheless, waits to be seen, though. I've got a couple more months to the season, but we'll see. Chris, I can't thank you enough for joining, man. It's been a great show here. I can't thank you enough for joining, getting your insight on Camp Skattebo, all things Arizona State Sun Devils football and more. I can't thank you enough for joining, man. I'd love to have you on again soon as we get closer to the season, Chris. We're almost there, my man, but thank you for joining. I appreciate you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Have a great day, Chris. Shout out to Chris Karpman, publisher for SunDevilSports.com, 247 Sports, Arizona State Sun Devils. Shout out to Chris for joining the show, giving us some insight on the Arizona State Sun Devils and Cam Skattebo's potential for the Giants this season. He's one of the players that I'm most excited to see headed into this season. I think Cam Skattebo, like you just heard him talk, he's got great character. He's bruiser. If they give him the opportunity, sounds like he's in a battle with Tywan Tracy up there for that running back spot. I expect him to get some rub, some burn this season, and he's big. He's a bruiser now. Don't get it twisted. I can't wait to see him for the Giants. Let's cover some more news before we get out of here on this fine Tuesday, folks. If you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, smash that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. If you'd like to donate and help the show grow even more, hit that super chat button, leave a donation, or leave a question. Let's get into it. Leonte Wester, we talked about him a few weeks ago, balling out in Ravens OTAs. He continues to make plays. This is a quote saying, Leonte Wester made the best catch of practice, diving to haul in a pass over the middle with the defender over on his back. This was from yesterday. Hey, I told y'all, Leonte making plays in Ravens OTAs here. We talked about it with the Ravens staff writer Clifton Brown here a few weeks ago. He talked about how the Ravens and Eric DeCosta, the general manager up there, expect to use Leonte in the return game. Can't wait to see that. We got to see him take one back against Utah. Also, I mean, there's a lot of receivers up there, so it's going to be hard for him to see, I think, any meaningful time, at least early, considering the Ravens wide receiver depth chart. But I think LeJohntay has a chance to work his way up. Let me know in the comments section your thoughts on seeing LeJohntay work his way up, make some plays in Ravens OTAs. This is what I like to see from LeJohntay, 5th-round pick working his way up. I just saw that tidbit of news, made me happy. We talk about LeJohntay a lot on this show. We will continue to cover LeJohntay as he works his way up in Ravens OTAs. Interesting tidbit of news there. Let's move forward. Talk about this. Folks, we got a first look at Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform. He's back wearing number 8. I don't know if you noticed, he's wearing a new helmet because I believe the old helmet, he was wearing the old bucket helmet. They outlawed him after last season, so he's wearing the new F7s, which I can tell you from wearing them, pretty damn comfortable helmet, super light. I mean, I don't know if I like the light part. As an offensive lineman, I always use my head as a weapon, try to hit somebody, but they're definitely comfortable. Kind of cool looking with the little, grid on the top. They look really good. If you ever put a dark visor on it, which I've done too, they look pretty good with the visor. So interesting. Aaron Rodgers' first look with the Steelers. I'm going to say this right now. I think the Steelers are going to be better than people think. I'm just going to leave that there. I think the Steelers are going to, Aaron Rodgers, think about it like this. Put Aaron Rodgers on that Steelers team last year. And I said this to Matt, and Matt kind of went back and forth with me a little bit. Put Aaron Rodgers on that Steelers team last year. And that Steelers team last year I thought was this close. And the only problem is Russell Wilson, and I'm a Russ guy, but damn, he can't throw the ball down the field. He can either throw it. It's either his first read or it's a check down. That's it. He doesn't sit there and really read the defense. And I don't know. He seemed uncomfortable in the Steelers offense at times. That was my problem with Russ. And Russ actually didn't play that bad either. It's just I thought there was a lot left on the table. Now with Aaron, that division's tough, but I think the Steelers are tough too. I expect at least 10 wins from the Steelers. And if I'm going to make an early prediction in that division, I think it's going to be them and the Steelers and the Bengals competing to win that division. I think the Ravens, I don't know. I think the Ravens kind of finished third. I don't know if you want to call it a down year, but I don't know what. My gut tells me they take a step back. I don't know. They can't get over the hump every time. And I'm more confident in Burrow than I am Lamar Jackson as a quarterback. And you guys might not like that, but that's how I feel. Also, Burrow has been to a Super Bowl and Lamar hasn't. I'll just throw that out there in case those who forget the truth. But nonetheless, first look as Aaron Rodgers in a Steelers uniform. Interesting. Another tidbit of news that happened. Let's stick on some Steelers here. TJ Watt is seeking a new contract, not in attendance at Steelers mandatory minicamp, but Aaron Rodgers is. But I hope the Steelers pay TJ Watt. It would not make very much sense, especially if Mike Tomlin wants to win now, which Tomlin, he always does. It would make no sense to get rid of TJ Watt. He's a freaking dude on the edge, really, really tough to block, really freaking quick off the ball. We saw TJ. We know how elite TJ Watt is. I hope that the Steelers pay him what he's worth. And there's not much I can say more than that. Same. I had the same message here. Trey Henderson and the Bengals, same division. Bengals, you guys are interesting. You got Trey Henderson, who you guys refuse to pay. Then you got Shamar, the rookie, who's also sitting out, and they can't. I don't know if that's on the rookie or the team here. I guess it's a little bit of both. But Cincinnati, you guys are in a little bit of trouble. You guys have no defensive ends. You guys tried to draft a guy to replace Trey Henderson, and none of them are playing now. Nonetheless, I'm still pretty confident in the Bengals, but Bengals, y'all got to figure that out. You got to figure that out. Last little tidbit of news that I'm going to touch on before I get out of here. And by the way, folks, a little update on the show here. We're going to be live here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday here on Bailey Price Media Live going forward. Did I see the turf in the pictures? I'll bring that up in a second. I don't know if they've really put up a clear photo, but I'll check it out in a second. But finishing my update, folks, we'll be live here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays here on Bailey Price Media Live, going live 4 days a week here, doing all we can to really grow this show as we get into the season. This is the number one show covering college football news, NFL news, and really just trying to build a community here, football fans across the country and across the world here. We got folks listening from Australia. We got folks listening here from Germany and the UK. I appreciate all the support nonetheless, folks. But we're going to be live 4 days a week here going forward. Figured I'd provide that update to you guys. let me see if I can get a picture of the Folsom Field turf, because I mean, I hope it looks better. Shit. Oh man. RK, this is a funny. Your username's hilarious, by the way. Shout out to the guys at DMVR. I'll discuss this tomorrow. Tune into my show tomorrow. I'll discuss this. I'm sure there will be Colorado Buffaloes news that I have to discuss tomorrow here on the show. Tune into that. I'll break down the turf, all things new Folsom Field turf. We'll discuss that tomorrow. A new acquisition that happened in the NFL. Nick Chubb is a Texan. This is an old story, but now Nick Chubb's officially signed, I believe, a 1-year deal with the Houston Texans. Damn. I mean, shit. That's a pretty good player. If he's fully healthy and he can stay healthy, damn, that's a pretty good get for CJ Stroud and the Texans, man. I mean, the Texans had a lot of running back issues, or not issues, but injuries. And I think having a guy like Nick Chubb, he can stay healthy. I mean, we know how good he is if he's healthy. So, I mean, a good pickup for the Texans. Let's see if Nick Chubb can stay healthy. And CJ Stroud, I don't think is throwing still at Texans minicamp. I don't know if it's something to watch or not. JB said it's not. Trey Wingo came out, obviously, on Twitter and was like, if CJ Stroud's not throwing in Texans minicamp, you should be concerned. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that. I'm sure CJ's thrown all off season, so I'm not going to lose my mind over it. Either way, a great get for the Houston Texans. Folks, if you're watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and become a member of the Bailey Price Media Army. I can't thank you enough for tuning in. We will be live here tomorrow on Bailey Price Media Live as well, talking all things college football news, NFL news, Colorado Buffaloes news, and Prime news, and so much more. Who knows what will happen in the world of sports? One more tidbit of news I want to cover before we get out of here, folks. ESPN College Game Day picks Ohio State versus Texas. I'm just going to say this right now. Shocker. If you look at week 1 matchups, that's the best game by far. For Lee Corso's final show in week 1, I think this is great. Great way to send off Lee Corso. Obviously, got to be if you love college football, you're probably a fan of College Game Day as well. I think this is great. Great way to send off Lee Corso. A great way and great game to send off Lee Corso. So I'll be tuning in. And also, one little tidbit of news that I will drop in the season. I'll be live here all Saturdays on College Football Saturdays, talking betting, talking college football matchups, watching it live. We'll do live watch parties all throughout the season. So stay tuned for that as we get closer to the season. Before we get out of here, Shador's throwing up the Shador, so to speak, the watch, and Browns mandatory minicamp or Browns minicamp, and I expect Shador to play at some point this season. It's not going to be week 1, folks, so pump your brakes. It's probably not going to be by week 8, but at some point this season, I expect Shador to work himself up, beat out Dylan Gabriel, beat out Flacco, and I think Kenny Pickett's traded, so I wouldn't even bring that up. But beat out whoever's in front of him. I expect Shador to see this, the field at some point this season for Cleveland. Just throw it out there. Folks, I'll be live tomorrow on Bailey Price Media Live. Thank you for watching today. If you haven't checked it out, Chris Karpman, publisher for SunDevilSports.com, 247 Sports, joined the show earlier to break down all things Arizona State football news, including Cam Skattebo, his potential as he works his way up in Giants minicamp. We also talked about Arizona State's potential in the Big 12 this season, and so much more. I'll see you guys tomorrow here on Bailey Price Media Live. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, become a member, and enjoy your beautiful Tuesday, folks. Thank you for watching. Peace.